KFGO. We are pleased to welcome into the studio a gentleman named Steve Schultz. Steve is the owner of, quite simply, the greatest pizza joint in the world because me and my family go there about 26 times a month to the Duane's Pizza. We just love it. Steve is the owner of Duane's Pizza. He's in the Mike McFeely show today. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much.
You bet. I wanted to have you in today because you're out there. Your name is out there regarding a story that we had here on KFGO a couple weeks ago. It came out in the paper today regarding the widening of South University in Fargo and the fact that it's a high-traffic road, the backbone or one of the backbones of Fargo. Well, if they happen to widen South University, where your pizza shop is, that's going to adversely affect your business and lots of other businesses along that stretch on South University, Steve.
Most certainly. It'll affect every business for 2 solid blocks there on South University.
What are we talking about? How wide are they talking about making the road, and then what specifically would that do to your business and the other businesses on South University?
Well, what they've proposed to us over the past couple of years now is they do want to add a third southbound lane just to alleviate their traffic congestion in the late afternoons, and they're looking to take up to 20 feet of property from the business owners, which they say they have the right of way to do that right now. And after all of the legal reviews that they've done, they found out there are actually 3 lots, and one of them just happens to be where I'm sitting, where they only legally have the right to take 10 feet. So they've had to redo a few of their plans and their ideas, and we've been meeting and arguing for just over 2 years.
Well, and I was going to bring it up because you and I were talking about this before we went on, but this is not a new story for you. This has been going on since 2009 or 10, you said. It's been a couple of years. This has been ongoing with the city. You've been talking with the folks from Fargo.
Yes, sir, and that's the big thing. Us business owners have been meeting with the engineering department and with MetroCog, and it's hard to say, but we've gotten on a first-name basis with a lot of these people, and it hasn't been a friendly thing each time either, to say the least. At least they're willing to work with us. We've been able to meet with the Fargo City Commission in a closed-door meeting as well, the business owners and the engineering, and the plan that they proposed, and we still haven't found common ground yet because it is going to essentially cripple all of those businesses along there.
Well, and the biggest issue is parking, or does it go beyond that? Because if people are familiar with that stretch of road, and I certainly am because I frequent those businesses along there quite often, the parking lots already are pretty narrow. Whether it's Duane's Pizza or some of the other malls there, there's not a lot of room. So if you take away 20 feet, you move all the signage in even farther into the parking lots, that's going to take away a lot of parking for these businesses. Is that the issue, or are there other things going on, Steve?
That's the biggest issue right there. There are a few little hidden details that are going to take a little bit of work as well, but that's the main focus, is just to try and keep the parking that we have. And they said this process isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to be a number of years down the road, so as businesses we can prepare for this. But I'm close with a lot of these business people, or owners anyway, and they're going to have a really tough time leasing that property when their leases do come up, because there won't be enough parking available to really substantiate a business.
You bet. Steve Schultz, owner of Duane's Pizza, is on the Mike McFeely show. We're talking about the possible widening of South University. The business owners along that stretch, between about 13th and down toward the Duane's Pizza, Sanford, the old Dakota Hospital, down in that stretch right there, is what we're talking about. Have you had any, Steve, feedback from the city that says, okay, we hear you, maybe we'll look at something else? Or are they heck bent on getting this thing done? It sounds like the latter more than the former.
Well, they have met with us a number of times, and they did seem heck bent to get their way, but they have been working with us. I will agree with that, and they have brought us. It seems like each meeting they change a few things, but that's still the main objective, is to get that third lane in there. We understand that, but it's not really going to work. And they haven't sold us on feasibly, that it's a feasible project, because they say it's going to take a couple of $1 million. And one of the first meetings they messed up, and somebody from the North Dakota Department of Transportation was there, and they did a feasibility study, or a traffic study, And they said that they didn't feel that traffic would grow more than 5% over 20 years on that stretch.
Oh, really?
Yes, just because everything is so established, everything is moving to the west and southwest, and everybody understands that. That's why they widened 45th Street 3 or 4 times. And, you know, it's just a hard thing to stomach, the fact that with such little growth and with absolutely no problems or issues going on right now, why change it?
Let me ask you this, and this is the $64,000 question, and you know it's coming. Are there steps that you and other business owners can take or have talked about taking to stop this project, to keep your businesses where they are right now?
We have. We've been visiting amongst one another quite a bit here, and legally, I think they can still take this from us, even from, you know, an attorney standpoint. They can legally take the property. Granted, they had the right-of-way and the easements built in 71 years ago. And they let these projects go through, these parking lots be built, you know, businesses establish, and now they come back and say, okay, we want our property back.
Will this put you out of business at that location in South Fargo? Will Duane's Pizza close if this project is begun in, 2015? Still a couple years away, but it's something to think about. Would this put you out of business?
That would be a very strong determining factor to move. I am actually looking, because of this project, to relocate. It's going to be a few years. They are giving us that, but I'm going to have worthless property when it's all over with, because it's not going to, it won't qualify for codes with the amount of parking that'll be available to really suit anything other than maybe a little office space.
How many parking spots do you have right now, and if this project goes through, how many will be left?
Well, they only do us in block increments as far as what they proposed, and it sounds like they're going to take about 20% of each plaza's parking.
Okay, which is significant. Obviously, it's not that big of a parking lot anyway.
Right.
I don't mean to make light of this, and I won't do that at all, but I need to ask you, if you move from your South Fargo location, could you build one in Oakport Township, right in that Crystal Creek neighborhood? Could you build, so I could walk to it every day? Could we work out a deal there, Steve? Would that be fine?
That might be a little bit of a stretch.
Well, at least you're honest. Steve, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I know you have a very busy day, and keep up making the greatest pizzas in the world. We love them, okay?
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you bet. Steve Schultz of Duane's Pizza right here in Fargo, Moorhead. What do you think, folks? You've heard Steve talk about this. You might have heard it on KFGO earlier. You might have read it in the paper this morning. Do you think this is something the city needs to go through with? They are, as I said earlier, heck bent on doing this. Do you feel that the traffic is okay? It does get clogged up at, a couple half-hour increments a day has been my experience, but is that worth really putting some businesses perhaps out of business, including the Duane's Pizza or, I don't know, Bernie's Wines and Liquors or some other businesses along that stretch of South University? 237